Come one, come all, and welcome to Tea Time with T-Cross.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Tea Time with T-Cross. Different setup today. I was supposed to have a guest today, and I was really excited to have this guest on. We had planned a time, and I planned it on the assumption that we were going to do it virtually, on like Zoom or something. He planned it with the idea that we were going to do it in person, and he thought I lived closer, so the timing just didn't work out, so we rescheduled it for next week. Because I usually record at like fucking midnight, and I live with my parents, so that's normally where I record it, so I record it late at night while, everybody's sleeping. So this week I was going to do it at Karen's place here, just because she works during the day, so I have more freedom here. But c'est la vie, we'll do it next week, hopefully. So again, I want to start out with giving out my email. If you want to be featured on the podcast, teatimewithtcross@gmail.com. Still haven't gotten any emails there. Not surprised, only 8 people listen. Also, the sponsors, affiliates, whatever you want to call them, I have a link in the bio of the YouTube, on my Instagram, on the SoundCloud, iTunes, whatever. You can get freeze sleeves, Kratom, Iron Studios, get some comic book figures, CBD, MD, great stuff. So let's get into it. So, New York is starting to allow fans back into sporting events at a limited capacity. So I heard that the New York Rangers, my all-time favorite sports team, is allowing fans back in. So I was trying to buy tickets when they first announced it. Turns out the first group of people they were allowing to buy tickets were the season ticket holders, naturally. Excuse me. So my uncle is a season ticket holder. I reached out to him. He got put on a wait list, whatever. And I don't exactly know how the wait list worked, but he never got back to me about the tickets. So I just assumed he never got them. So then they opened up to the public. And I really wanted to go to the first game on Friday. And, I mean, good thing I didn't end up buying tickets for it, which I'll get to. But, so this Friday, which I guess is tomorrow at this point, right? Yeah, it's Thursday right now. So tomorrow night it will be the first game where they're having fans back. I really wanted to go to the first game where they're allowing fans back just for historic reasons. And when the tickets first went on sale, they were listed, like the cheapest ones all the way up in the 400 section were $50 a piece. So I was like, boom. And I kept logging into Ticketmaster, clicking it, the $50 tickets, and it would say, sorry, another fan got these tickets. And then I'd back out, and then another $50 seat would be available. Then I'd click on that. Sorry, another fan clicked on it first, blah, blah, blah. That kept happening. It must have happened 13 times trying to get these fucking cheap tickets. And then all the $50 tickets were sold out. And then there was, a couple $150 tickets. I was trying to buy those. And you had to buy group. You can't buy just one. So I went to buy 2. Hold on, something just popped up on the camera. Plus minus 0. I don't know what the fuck that means. Hopefully it's all good. But so anyway, so $150 tickets. You had to buy at least 2 or 4. Yeah, there was no $3 ticket option. So it had to be either 2 or 4. So I was like, let's buy 2, and I'll take my best friend Sal. And the same thing kept happening with those. And then those sold out. And then there were $350 tickets, and that's not including the service fees on. And I was like, fuck that. No, I'm not doing that. So then I just looked at the other days, and the next game they were allowing was Sunday, and I was able to buy not the $50 tickets, but like $125 I think I spent, but they didn't have any two ticket seats. So I bought 4 for Sunday, and I bought them Tuesday night. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll just me and Sal will go. We'll have 4 seats, but, it'll just give us more room, whatever. And then I told my mom that I bought tickets, and then she tells me that you need to present a negative COVID test at the door of the venue. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who told you that? And she's like, I don't know. I saw it on the news. That's what Cuomo said. I'm like, why didn't they tell you that when you bought the ticket? Or like, why wasn't that in the description of the tickets on Ticketmaster? So then yesterday I called the MSG, and I was like, just to find out if it was true. I was on hold for 40 fucking minutes. So it is true, and I'm like, well, fuck. And it has to be within 72 hours of the game. So good thing I didn't buy tickets for Friday night, because I would have had no shot of getting tested and getting results back. So they don't give you much wiggle room, because the test itself takes 72 hours, like 48 to 72 hours for you to get your fucking results. So it had to be today. And a lot of these places are appointment only. So I find out that Sunray, the local Sunray here by in the Applebee's Plaza, does free walk-in tests. So I go in, I fill out the paperwork, whatever, I give them my insurance card, and they hand me a swab and a tube, and they're like, the directions are on the bag. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, the directions on what to do are in the bag. I'm like, I gotta swab my own nose? And they're like, yeah, but you gotta do it outside, so you gotta like go to your car or something. I'm like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? So I go into my car, and I'm reading the directions, and the directions for how far to stick the swab up your nose are until you feel resistance. I feel resistance immediately, because I don't want a stick going all the way up my nose. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. This test, there's no way this test is going to be accurate. And the test needs to be a PCR test, a nasal swab test. It can't be one of the rapid tests that takes 20 minutes, because I guess those aren't accurate. I don't even know why they're a fucking option at this point. But anyway. So I tickle my brain. I stuck it up as far as I could. And you had to do it. You had to swish it in circles 4 times specifically. That's what it said. And then take it out, put it in the other nostril, and then do that 4 times. Both times I sneezed after I did it. The other COVID tests I've taken, I did not sneeze after it. So maybe I went too far. I have no idea. As long as the test comes back negative so I can go drink beer at Madison Square Garden again, that's all I want. God, with all the coughing I'm doing today, maybe I am. Maybe it's not going to come back negative. But anyway, so murder documentaries, they're fucking awesome. Yes, I have a water today. I am way too fucking fat, and I'm sick of it. I hate looking at myself in the mirror, and I've been complaining about it for a while, and I'm sure everyone else is done complaining about me here, done hearing about me complain about it. Done hearing me complain about it. I just had a fucking stroke. Done hearing me complain about it, because I don't do anything about it. I really don't go to the gym anymore, for personal reasons, and I just drink Mountain Dew all day, and I eat pizza like 5 days a week. So I'm done. I'm doing something about it this time. So murder documentaries are fucking awesome. There's so many of them, but when I have to force myself to stop watching them, because there's so many, and they're all so good. They're all so well made, and not just serial killer, but like just murder in general. They're phenomenal. But I have so many other TV shows that also seem phenomenal that I want to get around to watching. So when I watch a murder documentary, I can't stop. I just find another one, and then Netflix will just recommend them to you. So they're the first thing that pop up on your home screen. It's like, fuck, they got me. I'm in the loop here. So I watched Night Stalker the other day, and it freaked me the fuck out. I watched it late at night when everybody was asleep, because I like alone time, and that's the only time I get alone time. When people just actually leave me alone is when everybody's asleep. So that's why I stay up super late, so that I can get my alone time and my privacy. Otherwise, I don't get it. So I stayed up super late, and I watched all 4 episodes of Night Stalker, one after another, and it freaked me the fuck out, because it was just this guy breaking into people's houses, and he didn't discriminate. He killed men, he killed women, he killed children. He would just rape women and then let them go and then kill their husbands. Like, this guy didn't give a fuck. And that, I think that's why it was so fucking difficult to find the guy, because there was no the only similarities was that they would find his shoe print, the same shoe print of a shoe that there wasn't too many made. So they're like, all right, it's definitely the same guy doing all these murders, but they can't find him. And the one thing that pissed me off about the documentary was that they didn't show too much after they caught the guy. Because when they caught the guy, it was like halfway through the last episode. So the last half hour of the 4-hour documentary was like the guy in the courtroom and talking about the actual guy. And that's the stuff that interests me. Like the Ted Bundy documentaries, he's my favorite murderer, Ted Bundy, for sure. But one of the documentaries was like entirely about just him. And, how difficult he was to catch, how many times he got caught and then got away. And then he represented himself in the courtroom. Courtroom stuff always interests me. My uncle's a lawyer. He was a judge at one point. When I was a kid, I used to go to the local courtroom here to watch my uncle in the courtroom as a lawyer and as a judge. I always like SVU. What's that fucking Tom Cruise movie? You Can't Handle the Truth with Jack Nicholson. I hate Tom Cruise, but I fucking love that scene. I love courtroom stuff. What's the other one with Matthew McConaughey, where he gets the black guy off for killing his daughter's murderers or something like that? The courtroom scenes are always great. And Night Stalker, that's all I wanted to see. Especially when they show this guy in the courtroom and he's got a pentagram in his hand and he screams out "Hail Satan" to the courtroom. I wanted to see more courtroom of this stuff. But another thing about the documentary, which didn't really piss me off, but always kind of surprises me with these murder documentaries, they always interview the detectives and the cops that were involved in it. Like this, I forget the guy's name, but the big fat guy, I think he was a Spanish guy with a mustache. These guys fucked up so many times. Like, they pulled the guy over, and it turns out his car was stolen. So he gets out of the car and just runs away, and they couldn't find him. They found out what dentist office he goes to, and they staked cops out there. And then after 2 days, they were like, he's not coming back here. And then they pulled the cops out of there. I mean, and they were like, yeah, I was really proud of the work I did. You fucked up so much that 10 extra people died because you didn't do your job right. I mean, I'm no detective or cop, but I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. If I was that guy, I would never want that story to get out. It makes me look like a bad detective. I thought it was awful. I was really, really shocked. But when it was over, after I was done watching it, the heat in my house turns on. So now I'm hearing noises out in my hallway. I sleep with a sword next to my bed. I've got a couple sword stories. But now I'm freaked the fuck out. So now I got to turn on Tourette's guy on YouTube so that I don't have nightmares and I can actually get to sleep. But let's tell the sword story. So I grew up doing Taekwondo. When people ask me my martial arts experience, when they find out I'm a fighter, I do not tell them that I'm a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. So I started doing Taekwondo when I was 3 because I was a fucking lunatic child and my mom wanted me to learn some discipline, and essentially it just needed a break because I was too crazy. So I started doing Taekwondo, and I did it up until I was about, I want to say 16. So I did it for 13 years. I won 2 state tournaments in Taekwondo. I got to the 3rd-degree black belt. It was pretty fucking good. But then when I was 16, my sensei was asleep in his bed at night, and his wife beat him half to death with a baseball bat. So the school kind of closed down for like a year while he was recovering. Like, he got fucked up real bad. And in that time, I'm 16 now. I finally have more free time because all I knew as far as free time was like baseball and taekwondo. That was like all I did with my free time. So now I have all this free time where I can actually start hanging out with people and doing stuff. And when the school opened back up, I was like, fuck that shit. But anyway, so in these state tournaments that I would go to, there was like several different categories that you would need to do. And then, they take they give you a score after you do your performance or whatever. And then whoever gets the highest score in a certain age group in the whole statewide tournament wins the tournament. So I won 2 of them. I have 2 6-foot-tall state tournament trophies still in my bedroom today. But anyway, so one of the categories was weapons. You had to do a kata with a weapon. So I've got a myriad of weapons at my house. I got nunchucks. I got sai. I got bows. Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all those weapons that they have, I got them. Yeah, so I don't even remember all the names of what these, but I got so many fucking weapons in my house. At this point, I don't even know if they're legal, so allegedly I have all these weapons in my house. But the most dangerous and the most scary is the fucking sword of them. So I keep the sword next to my bed. And there was one time when I think I was still doing karate I might not have been. No. Was I? I don't fucking remember. But there was one time I was home alone and my mom was out at the gym. And she did not tell me that a exterminator, God, I'm so bad with words lately. An exterminator was coming over. So guy pulls into the driveway in a white van. It's not marked. Like, there's no, like, New Jersey extermination, whatever. Just a guy in a white van. He comes out. He's wearing all black and a black skull cap. And he rings the doorbell. And I'm like, fucking no. I'm not answering this door. So he leaves eventually. And I call my mom. I'm calling her over and over and over and over and over again. She's not answering. About 20 minutes later, they come back. Now there's 2 guys in all black with a black skull cap. I'm like, what the fuck? So they not only ring the doorbell, they open the screen door and start knocking on the door. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck do these guys want? So I grab my sword. And at the top of my stairs, right along the railing, there's a couch. So I squat down behind the couch with my sword. I'm like, these guys come in here. They come up the stairs. They're getting a sword to the cock. And they eventually left. My mom eventually calls me on her way. She's like, what's up? I'm like, hey, we just almost got robbed. Guy comes to the house, knocked on the door, left, came back with somebody else. So what the fuck? She goes, oh, that's probably the exterminator. I'm like, a heads up would have been fucking nice. Would have been real fucking nice. Another time, I was up late as per usual, and I heard something in the house. And so I mute the TV, and I keep hearing it. And it's not the heat. I don't know. To this day, I don't know what the fuck it was. But I was hearing, and it was moving. It sounded like footsteps. It was freaky. So now I'm thinking there's somebody in the house. So I dick out and everything because I sleep naked. And when I'm in my room late at night, I'm naked because clothes are for squares. I'm not even wearing pants right now. I literally have my dick out underneath this table. So I grab my sword. I mean, if there's someone in the house, I don't have time to get dressed. I'm going. So I grab my sword, and as I'm walking down the hallway, I turn every light on in the whole fucking house. I don't know how I didn't wake anybody, but, I turn on the hallway light, I turn on the bathroom light, kitchen light, living room, family room, playroom, turn on all the lights, look behind all the doors. I look in the cabinets. I'm so freaked out. So there's nobody upstairs. So now I wander downstairs. And we have like when you walk in the front door, you're not upstairs or downstairs. You're like on that level. So there's stairs to go downstairs where my grandma lives, and then there's stairs to go upstairs where we live. So I go downstairs and I open the closet that's right there by the front door, and then I walk downstairs. I turn on all the lights down there. The garage, my grandma's kitchen, my grandma's living room, my grandma's dining room. Nobody's in the fucking house. So I just turn all the lights on in the house at like 2:30 in the morning with my dick out and a sword in my hand. And there was nobody in the house. So I saved my family because there was someone in the house, and I scared him away with my penis. So that was pretty cool. So, yeah, that's where I ended up with murder. I was talking about murder documentaries, and I ended up talking about my penis out with a sword. So Teddy Cruz, speaking of murderers, the Zodiac Killer. This fucking guy is something else, man. So I don't know the extent of how bad it was in Texas. I heard they only got 4 inches of snow. And I mean, for a state that, I don't know when the last time it snowed in Texas, but for a state that doesn't normally get snow, I could see why they would be worried why that's a lot of snow and why they would be unprepared. Because why would we need to have a blizzard preparedness? We're damn near at the fucking equator. So, look, I'm kind of torn on the Ted Cruz thing because as much as I'd love to make fun of Ted Cruz, what the fuck could that guy have done while still in Texas? I mean, seriously, what could he have done to help people in Texas while there's a blizzard going on? And also, how bad could the blizzard have been if planes are still taking off from Texas? I mean, seriously. So, blizzard hits, people lose power, some people die because they sit in their garage and turn their car on and they suffocate themselves. But I don't even know, what does Ted Cruz do? Is he a senator from Texas? He's not the governor. He's not a mayor of any town. What the fuck could Ted Cruz have done while still in Texas? I mean, seriously. So he gets caught at the airport going to Cancun. And then he comes out afterwards and he says, like, look, my daughters wanted to go away. I don't know how old his daughters are. But if he was taking them to Cancun and leaving them there and then coming back, they have to be, I would imagine they're adults or close to the age of 18. But anyway, he's like, my daughters wanted to take a trip, so I was being a responsible father, wanted to make sure they got there safe, and then I was always going to come back. And then somebody that works for the airline was like, you booked that the day before you left, and you booked it for a week, so you're full of shit. So once again, we bullied somebody into changing their plans. And it's always funny to me when the internet is able to do that. Like when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out, the internet bullied a major production studio to completely change everything, change an entire movie. And then I don't know how well it did at the box office, but I didn't go see it. I mean, I'm not a huge Sonic the Hedgehog guy. I wasn't a big video game kid. So I wasn't all that upset. I was like, hey, that looks kind of weird. But the internet completely bullied that. Let's see. Let's see how well Sonic the Hedgehog did at the box office. Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 film. So the budget was $95 million. On the box office, it made $320 million. So it did pretty well. Okay, so good for you guys that bullied them and then went and saw it anyway. So good for you guys. I was not one of those people. But seriously, what could Ted Cruz have done had he stayed in Texas? And again, I want to check this because I don't know the answer. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's a senator. Yeah, he's a senator from Texas, so he's not even the what could he have done? I don't know. People just like to bitch and moan and complain. As do I get it. But that's just not one of the things I'm complaining about. I'll share memes about it because the memes that came out of it were fucking great. So, as you guys know, I drink a fuckload of Mountain Dew. I'm trying to quit because I gained way too much weight, and that's the main source. Pizza doesn't help. I don't really drink all that much beer anymore, but the main source is the sugar from my. I'm not even going to tell you how many Mountain Dews I drink a day, but it's whatever you think, add a few. So I go to 7-Eleven a lot. And 7-Eleven now has one of those membership card things. Excuse me. And you put in your phone number and whatever. And after you get a certain number of points, you can save money. And I don't even know why they do that because they're so skimpy with money. Like if you pay in cash and you're supposed to get pennies back, they won't give you your pennies unless you ask for it. Even if it's 1 penny, they will, like, if it's $7.99, you give them $8, they'll just close the drawer. Won't even say, do you want your penny? In which case I would say no, but you don't just decide that I don't get my penny, especially when I'm in there 4 times a day. 4 pennies a day times 365 days a year. That shit adds up. So give me my fucking penny. So the other day I'm in there and they do this all the time too, but when I'm like at work and I have a ride, I'm kind of in a rush, don't feel like arguing with people. I wasn't in a rush this day. So I put in the phone number for my thing and it said like save $1. And the guy clicked some button and it went away and he's like, $3.20. And I was like, I want to save $1. And the guy was like, what? I'm like, there was an option up on the screen here to save $1, and then you clicked a button and it went away. And the guy was like, oh, that's only for coffee. I go, no, it's not. And I go to every 7-Eleven in the area. There's 48 of them. So I know all the guys that work at every 7-Eleven. I'd never seen this guy before at any of them, so he must be new. I hate that I know, like, I see somebody at 7-Eleven, and I'm like, you must be new here. That's so bad. It's funny, little tangent here. There's a comedian that I like that Karen showed me. His name is Shane Smith. He has face tattoos, and he says that he drinks so much Mountain Dew that he goes into a store, and they're like, hey, the Mountain Dew guy. He's like, you know how much Mountain Dew you have to drink to have a face tattoo and be called the Mountain Dew guy? Anyway, so the guy was like, it's just for coffee. I go, no, it's not. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, I'm in here 5 times a day. I get that $1 off on Mountain Dews all the time. I'd like to save $1. He goes, it's just for coffee. And I'm like, look, there's a line behind me. Not to be rude to any of those guys, but I'll stay here all day. I want to save $1. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just for coffee. I'm like, no, it's not. And then I turned around. I saw a guy that I always see. He's like the friendliest guy. I said, hey, buddy. I call them all buddy because that's what they call me. I was like, hey, buddy, can you come over here for a second? So he's like, yeah, what's up? I said, there was a save $1 on the screen, and he's telling me it's just for coffee, and I know that it's not. So then he clicks some buttons on the screen. It comes back up, and I save my $1. And the guy was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I thought it was just for coffee. I'm like, no, you didn't. You're being an asshole. I didn't say that, but I was like, yeah, whatever, no problem. Save my $1 and I go on my way. But for those of you that are going to 7-Eleven, pay attention to the change that they give you. Because how many times you pay with cash, they give you change, and then you sit there and count it? Almost never, right? Count it at 7-Eleven because they're going to try and skimp you. All right, so I don't have too much to talk about this week. Like I said, I was planning to... Is my battery about to die? There's no way. I put in a brand new fucking fully charged battery. I don't even see the battery option on the camera there. Whatever, I'll just keep going. So there's this new thing with Uber that customers can choose to make you put in a PIN number before you're able to hit deliver. So I don't know how it works on their end, but I deliver it. They have to tell me what the PIN is, and then I can put the PIN in the screen before I can go. So I deliver to this woman. It only happened one time. It's like a brand new thing. So I deliver to this woman, and I say, Uber says I need a PIN, and so she tells me the PIN. And I was like, okay, cool. So she goes inside. I put the PIN in, and it says, PIN doesn't work. So I try it a couple more times because it was the first time I've done it as well. Didn't work. So I call the woman. I said, hello? I said, hey, I tried that PIN number you gave me, and it's not working. So she says it again, and I put it in, and I go, yeah, that's not working. And she goes, huh, that is my debit card PIN. I'm like, Uber is supposed to give you a PIN. I don't know if it goes through the app or through email. So she's like, oh, yeah, Uber. This lady gave a stranger the PIN number to her debit card. I mean, I guess I could see the confusion where Uber's like, give the driver the PIN number. I would never in a million years, I wouldn't tell my mom my PIN number to my debit card. Just hit use as credit. Not that I've ever let anybody use my debit card, but this woman just, a stranger. I mean, yeah, I'm at work. I mean, what am I going to do because she has a debit card? But she just gave me her, but now I know where you live. And you just gave me your debit. It was really strange that anybody would actually do that. It is what it is. So, again, there's been a lot of snow this week, so I haven't worked all that much in the last week. This is like 2 weeks in a row where I haven't worked all that much. I've had doctor's appointments. Because on these next couple of paychecks, or on the last couple of paychecks, I haven't had, many bills due. So I've been getting my doctor's appointments in so that on the other days I can work full days. But all the other days it's been snowing, so I haven't really been working all that much. So I apologize to those of you that really like the Uber stories. But I got one the other day. I went to pick up an order from Wendy's. All went smooth, and I clicked start order. And over the year that I've been doing this, I learned to now look at the directions before I start the order, because these people give you specific, like really oddly specific directions that Uber doesn't show. Like Uber doesn't automatically show you until you arrive at the destination. So when I start the order, I look at them right away. This fucking asshole writes, can you stop at Burger King and get, I forget, I think I screenshotted it. I'll put it in the YouTube video. But this was several days ago, so I'm not going to scroll through my pictures now. But he said, like, can you stop at Burger King and get zesty sauce? What? You order from Wendy's and you ask me to stop at a different fast food place to get you a specific sauce? And he didn't give me a tip. No. Absolutely fucking not. Speaking of not getting tips, did you guys see that video that's kind of going viral now? The Uber driver who was crying in his car because some guy didn't give him a tip. It broke my heart because I get it. And I mean, I don't know what situation that kid was in, but if you just look up like crying Uber driver, I'm sure you could find it. He was wearing like a yellow vest jacket sort of thing. And he was crying like, I'm about to be fucking homeless because, a lot of these people who are getting food delivered aren't tipping. And that's how Uber drivers kind of make their living. He's like, I work 3 jobs, and I'm about to be homeless again because now I can't afford rent. And he tells this story about how he delivered to this guy. The guy's building didn't have free parking and he wouldn't come out to the street. So he's like, I paid $3 for parking, and then Uber paid me $2.50, and this guy gave me a $1.50 tip. So I got $4, and I paid $3 for parking. So I netted $1 on this trip. Buddy, if you're watching, if this somehow gets to you, I don't know if you got a certain number of strikes against you from Uber. Be a dick to the customers that are dicks to you. Simple as that. Be a dick. Fuck them people. If that guy didn't give you a tip and he wouldn't come out so you had to pay for parking, leave his food in the fucking street. Fuck that guy. I mean, I've gotten several emails about people saying that I didn't deliver their food, usually because I can't find their house or their apartment. I call them, they don't get back to me. I leave it at wherever the fuck I'm at, because I'm not wasting time on these customers, because I have other shit to do, other food deliveries to make. And then I'll just send them a picture of where it's at, and I'll give them a description, and now it's up to them to find it. And also, if you're ordering food to a store or where you're working, don't give the address of the store. Give the name of the store. Like if you write 7157 Highway 35, that means nothing to me. But if you write Best Buy in Homedale, I don't even need a GPS. I know how to get there. These people are unbelievable. So yeah, I didn't go to Burger King for this fucking guy. And yeah. So let's get into some MMA. Derek Lewis with a big knockout, and I don't want to say I'm surprised because he has the most knockouts in the history of the heavyweight division, but I was surprised. I did not think that he was going to be able to stop the takedowns and land that big shot, especially because his cardio's not great. I thought, going into the third round, there's no way he's going to land that shot, but he did, and now that's 4 in a row for him. And he's in a tough spot because I talked about this a couple weeks ago before this fight happened. He should fight for a title. His next fight should be for a title. But Ngannou and Stipe are going to fight. And then John Jones, they said, is getting the winner of that. And then, so how long is Derek Lewis going to wait around for? He called out Alistair Overeem. It's a fight I'd like to see maybe a couple years ago because Overeem just got his ass kicked by Volkov. I mean, before that, he was doing pretty well, so maybe it's still a good fight. But I want to see Derek Lewis with the heavyweight championship around his waist. The funny thing, though, is in the post-fight press conference, Derek Lewis said, like, man, fuck this 5-round shit. My body can't handle training for it. So maybe he doesn't give a fuck about being champion, but so I didn't watch. Why didn't I watch? Did I work? I think I worked Saturday because, again, it was a really top-heavy card. So I think the card started at 5. So I didn't watch the undercard. I got to talk about this. Missing weight is one of my biggest pet peeves, especially at the professional level. This fucking guy, he's not even listed on the card here because his fight got canceled. But this fucking guy, forget his name, was scheduled to fight at 145 pounds. He showed up to weigh-ins, and he weighed 157.5 pounds. He didn't even make weight for the weight class above him. 11.5 pounds he missed by. The biggest weight miss in the history of the UFC. Second was Anthony Johnson, missed by 11 pounds. Did he even try? I mean, I don't know how close the fight was, but his opponent, Pat Sabatini, who is I think he's a Philly guy, he's a CFFC champ. he took the fight on like a week's notice. He made weight. Paul Felder cut 27 pounds in 5 days to make weight when he fought Rafael dos Anjos. Why can't these guys make weight? 3 other fights, guys missed weight on this card. And they ended up, their opponent took the fight. But the other one, I don't know if they just wouldn't allow it because the weight wasn't close. One guy weighing 157, another guy weighing 145. I don't know if it was the commission that didn't let it happen. I have no idea. But another thing that happened on the card, Chaz Skelly, he had a fight against Jamal Emmers. Chaz Skelly enters the cage. His walkout song goes on. He comes out. While he's in the cage, his opponent had back spasms backstage as he was about to walk out. Fight gets canceled. So I don't know exactly how that works. Let me look at Chaz Skelly's. I don't know if that is. Yeah, so that's not on his record. That should count as a forfeit. You showed up, like the fight you made it to the cage. You should get your win bonus. I don't know if he did, but he should. And then young up-and-comer Tom Aspinall won his 3rd in a row in the UFC, beating former heavyweight champ and legend Andrei Arlovsky. He looked great, quick hands. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do moving forward. Tom Aspinall. And then Chris Dawkis, another local guy, Philly guy. I think he was the CFFC heavyweight champ. No. He lost. He fought for the heavyweight title and lost. But he's 3-0 in the UFC now, 3 knockouts. Good for him. I think we were trying to get him to fight my teammate Greg in CFFC, but then he, took an opportunity in the UFC. Can't blame him. But he's looking real good in the UFC, so I'm happy for him. And then the judges got one right. So Yana Kunitskaya fought Caitlin Vieira, and so Caitlin Vieira was taking Yana down and kind of just holding her there, passing guard, controlling position. All the while Yana was piecing her up from the bottom, throwing elbows, punches. I think the final punch count was like 117 to 13, something like that, for Yana, who was in the bad position. And I'm glad the judges got that right and gave it to the person doing the damage, because at the end of the day, it's a fight. Position matters, but so does damage. Caitlin Vieira had a big fucking hematoma on her forehead. She was cut up. I'm glad that they didn't do her dirty, because, this happened in my last fight. I don't think being on top should automatically win you a round. If you are defending submissions the whole time, or in a pro fight, if you're getting punched in the face and elbowed in the face while you're on top, you're not winning. You're not winning that fight. You're not winning that round. Yeah, you landed a takedown. Your face is cut to pieces. You did not win that round, and I'm glad they got that right. So I'm really happy for that. Then I'm ready to discuss Derek Lewis versus Curtis Blades. And I don't know how to feel about those extra punches, because I've never been in the cage where I knock somebody out and my adrenaline's going and I'm kind of not all there because I'm in a fight. But it always makes me feel uncomfortable when you knock somebody out and they're clearly unconscious, even if you don't like the person. Like when Dan Henderson did it to Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping talked a bunch of shit. That was after they were on The Ultimate Fighter together. Isn't knocking him out enough? Like, clearly unconscious? The extra punches always make me really uncomfortable. But at the same time, that's also the ref's job. Now, I'm not going to, I am going to, but I'm really in no position to sit here and talk shit about Herb Dean. But in that fight, when you're fighting when you're reffing a fight with heavyweights, I don't know exactly how big the cage is, but they talk about the 25-foot cage. I think that's the small one, and then the big one is the 30-foot. I'm not entirely sure the sizes. But when you're reffing heavyweights, you should not be all the way on the other side of the cage for that reason. Because if they knock somebody out and follow up with punches, you now have to run all the way. Not that 25 feet is all that long, but when a punch only takes a fraction of a second to throw, those couple steps that you're away are going to end up with some damaging punches. Derek Lewis landed 2 absolutely unnecessary shots, and Curtis Blades was unconscious for a long time. I don't know if those shots had anything to do with adding extra time to his unconsciousness, but I would imagine they did. I mean, the Jorge Masvidal punches after Ben Askren. No matter how much shit someone talks, I don't think that's necessary. It makes me uncomfortable to see, even if I don't like the person that got knocked out. I don't love Derek Lewis. No, rephrase it. I love Derek Lewis. I don't love Curtis Blades. I don't really hate the guy. For some reason, I'm not a fan. But, I mean, come on, man. Come on. It is what it is. Curtis Blades didn't seem all that upset about it, so hats off to him. This Saturday, we got another big heavyweight fight. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Cyril Gane. So Cyril Gane, he has not impressed me all that much, to be completely honest with you. He's a Muay Thai fighter. He's 7-0 in Muay Thai. He's 4-0 in the UFC. I don't know what it is about him that I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's the next big thing. So he beat Junior Dos Santos, which was his 4th knockout loss in a row. And now he's fighting Rozenstruik, the 3rd rank. And he's the betting favorite, it's 2.5 to 1, which is surprising. So I put money on Rozenstruik to win. I guess we'll see what happens, but I also put money on. So my new favorite thing to do with betting on fighting is to bet who wins and how they win in what round, and just do that through the whole fight, because the odds on that are really, really big. So if you put a little bit of money on all of it and then the fight ends up with a finish, then you win. You net a profit. So I did that in the Dustin Poirier-Conor McGregor fight. I won quite a bit of money there. With this one, 2 strikers. I just put 1st or 2nd round knockout, 2 heavyweight strikers. I'd be shocked if it goes past the 2nd round. So hopefully I win some money there. And then we got Alexander Hernandez is headlining the undercard. And again, that's somebody else that I'm not a huge fan of. Watching Donald Cerrone beat the shit out of him was tops. And then just the other day, they announced Angela Hill and Ashley Yoder are fighting. I don't even know why they would add another fight on a week's notice. They literally just a few days ago announced that they were fighting. And according to both of them, they found out that day as well. They signed the contracts that day, and then they announced it for there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 fights, including that one, on the whole card. So maybe they were just, really trying to get a full card, because I think a full card is usually 12 or 13. So I guess before that fight, it was only 10. And not a huge amount of name value. So they just added that to try to just get another fight on the card. And then we got Pedro Munoz versus Jimmy Rivera, big top level fight at bantamweight. And then we got Nikita Krylov and Magomed Ankalaev. This Ankalaev kid is really good. He's won 5 in a row. he had that fight against Ion Cutelaba, where Cutelaba was like pretending to be knocked out, and Uncle I was just throwing head kicks. None of them were landing, but Cutelaba was like on wobbly feet, and then the ref stepped in and stopped the fight, and he was like, "What the fuck?" Like, you weren't defending the kicks properly. They weren't landing, but you weren't blocking them properly. You were pretending to be knocked out, and you weren't throwing any punches back. So, I mean, I was okay with that stoppage. They got an immediate rematch, and he knocked him out again. So, he's really good. He's won 5 in a row. His only loss was to Paul Craig by submission. So, I'm excited to see him back in there. I don't know if he's ranked, but he should be, because he's fighting Nikita Krylov, and I'm pretty sure Krylov is ranked. He just beat Johnny Walker. Let's check the UFC rankings for light heavyweight. Because Izzy is fighting... oh my god, the Polish guy. I can't even think of his fucking name. I'm so bad with this shit. Jan Blachowicz. So Nikita Krylov is number 8 and Ankalaev is number 11. So that's a good fight. That's a big fight. Winner of that fight is going to get a top guy. I would imagine something like a Dominic Reyes or something like that, which would be cool. So that's all I got for MMA. Been a pretty light week, light podcast. Just kind of threw something together real quick because the timing did not work out last minute with my guest. Hopefully we can make it work next week, and we can get in here and get it done. It's a podcast I'm real excited about. Can't wait to get to it. And that's all I got. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.